Langley. If you grew up there, you know what I'm talking about. If not, not so much. Ode to Langley. Langley is a place that probably used to look nice, but now there are only glimpses of what it could have been. There are abandoned bars and empty houses, and I've never felt at home here. This is a town of old haunts. The park behind my house burned down because teenagers set fire to the slide when I was 9 years old, and the family of beavers who used to live in the ravine must have died long ago. My treehouse is covered in vines, and I have forgotten all the good times at old Mrs. Van Bar's house. The forest has not always been a scary place to me. I spent hours collecting little bugs. I kept snails and old pop bottles and fed them with chalk. I dug holes in the garden, believing that they would open up into some bustling market in Asia. I grew sunflowers taller than my head, threw the ball for the dogs, and let them race each other to fetch it. If you go for a drive in the outer parts of Langley, you'll see some beautiful things. All the rolling hills you could ever have wanted, ancient trees looming over ancient farmhouses, walnut farms with walnut trees lined up perfectly so that as you drive past, they flash into symmetry one by one. I helped Mom with the baking, pressed my thumb deep in the center of our jelly cookies, went window shopping with Dad, and braided the bookmarks of the Bibles in church instead of listening to the homophobic sermons. I was a carefree kid. There wasn't much to worry about as a child in Langley. I looked like any other girl. I played with the girls and climbed trees with all the girls in my neighborhood. My gender doesn't scare me yet. But now I'm a teenager, and I can see things objectively, and this haunted little place is not so nice after all. I will begin this poem again. Fuck you, Langley. I live in a place called Langley. I have always lived in a place called Langley. This place called Langley is a fucking awful place. Some call it the Bible bracelet. It is not as large as a Bible belt in the South, but it is filled with hateful white Christians nonetheless. If you are not a straight white person of a binary gender, you probably don't want to live in Langley. Langley is the annoying and not cool uncle who is jealous of the cool and hip Vancouver. Langley is the annoying uncle who tries to get hip and jiggy with the kids, but can't get over his traditionalist bullshit. But hey, Langley can't be all that awful, can it? Sometimes I can walk a few blocks without having an old man squint and ask if I'm a he or a she. Sometimes I can even spend a couple hours studying at the library without a middle-aged woman telling me I should dress more feminine so I can attract a nice man. And on very, very, very rare occasions, I will voice an opinion about the necessity of genderless washrooms and some stranger will nod in my general direction. Langley is right beside the Fraser River. The river is a wonderful place to be. Rocky beaches, murky waters, thorns, what could be better? If you happen to get bored of the beaches for some reason, go hang out in the farmland. Put on some rain boots, wade through the mud, and ride a horse, because everyone in Langley fucking loves horses. But Langley is not always bad. It is definitely bad, especially for queer and trans youth, but not always. Sometimes you'll pass someone on the street and you'll make eye contact and pick up on the beautiful queerness of that person, and you'll both smile. It is amazing. At school, the people my age are all coming out and telling the world who they are, and I am always here to hear their stories, their troubles, their follies. We all stumble and fall when we're searching for selfhood, but in Langley, it's a hell of a lot harder because there's nowhere to look for yourself. All the queer kids in Langley find each other. One way or another, we're all friends somehow. And now we have safe spaces in school, and I'm not gonna lie, we're the coolest kids in Langley. I live in a place called Langley. Langley is a fucking awful place, and I'm heading into my final year of high school, and all I can think of are goodbyes. Goodbye to these old haunted spots.